One of the great things about my job is traveling the world and meeting really interesting people. And so it is today. I'm in Seattle, where I'm sitting down with best-selling author, entrepreneur, instructor, Gifford Pinchot III, where he sat down with me to share with Top of Mind viewers his thoughts on entrepreneurship, building sustainable economies, and all things that help build a future worth living. I'm Tom Rue, and this is Top of Mind. Am I right to think you started turning your sights on education? Is that where you saw the next kind of challenge?
We had a little spare time on our hands as a result of that transaction, so we said and as I said, we were in that generative phase of life when you want to give back, so we said, what can we do to make the world a better place? And we thought that given who we were and what our skills were, that business education gave us more leverage than anything else we could think of. Business education needed to be fixed. It needed to develop an ethical core to it that was missing. And we thought that having tried to convince business schools to teach differently and failed utterly, that the only thing to do was to create a model of what that program was like and demonstrate to the world two things. One, that students would come to such a business school, and two, that they would succeed in starting businesses that actually worked and succeed in getting jobs. And once we had proved those 2 points, other business schools began to copy us.
Let's fast forward to the here and now and the present.
Mm-hmm.
Again, another multi-part question. What are you most proud of at the moment? Whether it's outcomes of graduates or the impact you've had, on the community. And then the second part of that is what do you hope to happen? What's your greatest ambition going forward, with BGI?
Yeah. Well, the first is that we're really proud of our graduates, and that is graduates like Kevin Moss, who did Farm Power, which is taking a problem which was family farms were going out of business because the manure was going into lagoons. The lagoons were draining down into the water table and taking out the wells. The overflow was going into the streams and taking out the shellfish, and the methane was going up into the atmosphere, and the farms were being fined and mandated for large capital improvement projects which they couldn't afford, and they were going out of business and being bought up by big corporate farms. So these family farms going out of business, that annoyed Kevin, who was a third-generation dairy farmer, and he said, I'm going to fix it. And he built an acre-sized biodigester. The methane went into a giant motor, produced 700 kilowatts of continuous power, and returned to the farmers $100,000 a year in dry bedding that he extracted from the manure, plus a soil amendment that they could spray onto their fields. And by the way, he was profitable. So profitable, in fact, that the investors stepped up immediately for another one. And another one, and another one. Just finished his fifth, and he's going on building them as fast as he can go, saving family farms, stopping climate change, stopping the pollution of groundwater. We're proud of graduates who do things like that. We're also proud of graduates like the Chief Information Officer of T-Mobile, Jeff Wiggin. He's one of 4 people who run T-Mobile, and he's developed a strategy which is based on sustainability, which is a key to their marketing. It's not being marketed as sustainability, but the initiative to think sustainably led them through to a way of saving money that is allowing them to offer a better deal to customers. And so we're really proud of the big guys, and we're really proud of the entrepreneurs.
And a great example of entrepreneuring.
Yeah. So the third thing that we're really proud of is the Center for Inclusive Entrepreneurship, which is moving us into the social justice side of things. We've been a little heavy on the environmental and a little light on the social justice side of things, unless you consider saving family farms social justice. But these are not poor people we're talking about.
Right.
So now we're reaching down into the really struggling parts of society and providing jobs for single moms from battered shelters, immigrants, the ex-cons and so forth, by helping them to start their own businesses. And that also allows our students to coach those entrepreneurs and learn something about what life is really like at the bottom of society, and develop, I think, broaden their hearts as to what has to be accomplished for our society to really work for everybody. So we're really proud of that, and that's expanding very rapidly, as you know as well as I do, to new locations, and I'm feeling really good about that. In terms of our long-term ambition, we are creating a place where academic entrepreneurs who are being given trouble by the bureaucracies of the school area and can leave those schools and come here and actually have the freedom to do what they're supposed to be doing. And so we were trying to create this ecosystem of entrepreneurial academic entrepreneurs who are serving the real entrepreneurs, and that ecosystem can become a really big part of what's transforming society.
You know, it's funny. I think BGI would probably be one of very, very, very few organizations where academic entrepreneur is not oxymoronic. Mm-hmm. Because in so many other places that I've seen, really, that the ethos of entrepreneurial thinking within the academic institution, has been beaten out of them, as you've already said. Mm-hmm. and the whole process is just an artifact of a system that somebody had finally sold, that this is the way we have to teach entrepreneurship. And you have people teaching entrepreneurship that never made a payroll, never sold product one, never had to recruit an employee and convince them that don't worry, you're not going to lose your house if you join me on this adventure. Mm-hmm. And my own observation is that for too many things, that the people that are in that teaching and or mentoring role, whereas probably well-intended, are woefully unqualified for it. And that's one of the concerns I have, and certainly a big motivation why we are investing in entrepreneurship education in the way we are, by putting people like yourself with the rich experience that you have, in front of the camera and say, how did you handle that when Darth Vader came knocking and tells you, we're going to buy your company? For too many people, it's a scary moment, and unless they have some referential point to say, well, do I have to take that? Mm-hmm. They might under-realize, their life's work. And that would be a shame if that were to happen.